Hello makers, it is Jo here, and today we've got a tool video. I've been selecting some tools from the website and I've been making little videos on how to use them and how to set them up. Today I have chosen a punch needle. It's a little tool for doing punch needle embroidery. It's like a really small scale of rag rugging. It's easy to do once you get started. It's just a little bit fiddly to set up, so I'll show you how to thread the pen. So this is the Prim punch needle, and this is what's in the packet. There is the punch needle pen, and I'll show you how to load that up in a moment. There are a set of needles. These are different sizes depending on what thread you want to punch with. And be careful with the instructions, because inside the instructions is a needle threader, a really fine piece of wire. It's probably hard to see on the camera, but it's got that white tape on the end, and that's going to help you to thread up the pen. There are instructions in the packet, but it's always good to see a tool in action. So to load up the pen, you unscrew the top. It's got the thread here. It's got some measurements here, and that is to indicate the length of your punch loops, but we can look at that when we start working. Choose a needle, and that goes into the end of the pen, and then the needle and the twist insert go into the pen holder. Twist it back in, and as you twist, the needle comes out the end. So when it's on 1, the needle is this long. When it's on 5, the needle is this long, and you'll see why that's important when we get going. The needle threader is really fine. It's just, in this one, 2 pieces of wire that come from a little white paper handle. So if you see that white bit on the screen, just know that the wire threader is coming out, and it's the length of the pen. So we're going to put the needle threader into the tip of the needle until it comes out at the handle end. Now we can split the needle threader, put the end of our thread material through the needle threader, and then gently pull it through until it comes out of the tip. That's the first stage. We now need to make sure that we have the thread going through that hole. We want the thread to go through the eye of the needle from the concave side, which is the side with the needle cut off, through to the convex side, which is the rounded side of the needle. So we're going to put the needle threader through the hole, push through our thread, and then gently pull the needle threader back so that it goes through the eye of the needle, and pull your thread through. You'll know you've done this correctly because you'll see a little bit of thread on the concave side, like a little line, and the thread will come away from the back on the convex curved side. Now, if the thread is tight, you won't be able to punch needle. If the thread is too loose, your punch needle stitches will just come out of the fabric. So it needs to run freely. If it's not, you need to change up for the different size needle so that you get a free flow of thread. It's a little bit fiddly to get started, but now you're ready to start. And you want to make sure that your thread is free flowing as well. You don't want any knots in there or a knotty mess. You need to have a really nice steady tension coming from your ball of yarn or thread. I'm using an Ada cloth, so that's a small gauge of cross stitch fabric that's got holes in it. And when you punch needle, you're punch needling from the reverse, so you don't see what you're doing. You work from the back and then when you turn it over you'll see the finished result. Let's have a go. I'll just show you the basic stitch and then I'll show you some things to look out for. I'm new to punch needle embroidery, so my work isn't going to be a real excellence, it's just going to be me trying out this new tool. That concave side is the front of your needle, so you always need to have that concave where it dips in at the front, and you're going to push the punch needle in until the plastic shoulder hits the fabric. When you pull the needle back, you punch in and you keep traveling along and punching the fabric. You need to make sure that you are concentrating and you don't just start doing a shallow one. The shoulder of that pen has to go to the end of the fabric, and that's where the gauge comes in, because wherever you set that will determine the length of your needle. So if you've got a longer needle, then you will get a bigger punch. You need to make sure that that convex side is always at the front. So if you want to change direction, you need to keep changing the direction of your fabric. Let's have a look from the right. So you get all of these little tufts that appear, and the more densely they're packed, the more you will have just a solid area of tufts. You can see here these ones are flatter and smaller because I've let the weight of this pen pull the fabric back through, because essentially that fabric isn't held in any way. It is just being gripped by the warp and weft of the fabric. Keep this tail out of the way because you don't want to push any of that thread through to the right side. You can see there, those ones I didn't let push the needle right through, so I get a slightly smaller loop. It's like rag rugging but on a really small scale. If some of your thread comes through like this, you'll get a really baggy stitch, so you need to make sure that you pull on the tail and make sure that the yarn or thread is really close to the work. Keep punching along. I'm finding here, look, I can't get through, it seems really tight, and that's because I haven't turned the work. The concave side of the needle is not at the front, so the yarn is twisted around the needle head. So keep remembering to turn the work, especially on curves. Take a look at the effect and see if there's any spare areas you need to work in. And then when you think you've finished, you can cut off the thread, but you need to just hold down the end, pull off a little bit of thread and snip it off. And you will have a really lovely tufted area where you can build up different colours and areas. Works really well for abstract designs, landscapes, not so much for specific images and shapes, but it's really good for abstract designs. You might find as you're working you need to strengthen the tightness of your fabric, and you don't tie off the ends, because if you start pulling on those two threads it will come undone. So you can just trim them off if it's a piece of wall art. If you're putting it on a sweatshirt or a jumper, or you want to use it as a garment or a patch, then you can put a little bit of glue on the back to hold the two ends in place. You can change colour as many times as you like, but you'll need to go back to rethreading like you did before. Pull the yarn from tip to handle, Because you're working on the back of the fabric, you can draw on your fabric with a dressmaker's pencil or any kind of chalk pen or pencil, and then you can start to add different colours. You're aiming for your line of stitching to be flat on the back. So in order to do that, you need to pull up the needle, but only just so the tip is scratching the surface, and then move along for your next stitch. If you come out too much and bring some thread, you will end up with loopy stitches on the back and very small stitches on the right side, whereas here these are all really lovely lengths of loop, and here they're too small on the right side. If you do that, you can easily just pull everything back. You can go back a few stitches and ensure that you're just taking the edge of the needle along the surface of the fabric. The tip of that needle is sharp, so make sure that your fingers are out of the way on this side. You don't want to stab through and catch your fingers. Keep any loose threads out of the way. You don't want to push those through to the right side. Keep turning the work so that the concave part of the needle is always at the front and the tail is at the back. If you run out of thread, you can take a few back so that your raw end is on the wrong side. Rejoin your yarn and just carry on as you were. You don't need to rejoin or tie off. The grip of the weave holds the loops on the reverse. Once you've found your rhythm and you've really got to grips with getting the length of your stitches correct, you do need to keep half an eye on what's going into the hole at the top. So if you've got any knots or twists, that will disturb the flow of the thread, and particularly with a knot as big as that one, it will get jammed inside the needle wick. Just make sure nothing is stopping the flow of your thread going into the end. You can make them really close. You can change the length and have a smaller tuft. So this is the smaller one. You can have them longer. You can change colours. And the more you put in, the more it looks really, really effective. And then you can seal the back. I'm going to put some interfacing on the back of mine and cut it out to use as a patch. This one's been interfaced. I've sewn around the outside on the machine, and this is the patch. You can use it in all sorts of different ways. You can use them to applique onto different garments or projects. This is the squiffy bag, and we have a sew along for this. It'd look fantastic if you could applique lots of details onto your bag. There are another couple of reasons why your punch needle might not be working, and that's if you've got a fabric that doesn't match the needle weight and your thread or yarn weight. So this is just a piece of poly cotton, but it's quite densely woven. So when I push into here, it's just coming undone because it's so tight to get through that weave that then I'm pulling the threads back out because I need to pull the needle back and it's just pulling it back through the holes. So you might find it's not working if you've got a weave that is too tight. The same will apply if you've got something like a burlap or a hessian or something where the weave is too open. The punch will go in and the weave of the cloth isn't close enough to grip your yarn and hold it in that loop position. Fabrics that do work well are canvas that has a weave where the warp and weft threads are quite movable. A denim that's not too stiff or rigid, one that's got a little bit of movability. Any stretch fabric won't work because when you press down with the pressure of the pen, the fabric will stretch and the elastane content will grip the needle, and as you pull it back, you will pull the fabric and you'll pull the thread back out. I found the best fabric for embroidery thread is to use the Ada cloth. This one is an 18 count. If you use one with wider holes, again, you'll find that problem where the loops won't grip in the warp and weft threads. You can, of course, change the gauge of your thread. So here's a pearl thread, so I would need to go down a needle size for this one. But I could also go down in a gauge of fabric because the needle point is a little bit narrower. So the thread loops would grip in a narrower gauge of fabric. You can use a thicker yarn and then you'd need to go up a needle size. There you could go up a size or gauge in weave of fabric as well, so you might need a different count Ada. You'll get a different look to the embroidery. This is an Aran weight yarn and I'll just switch over the needles so that you can see how it threads up. I hope that's helped you today. It's sometimes easier to see a tool in action than just follow the written or paper instructions. So I hope you have a lot of fun if you have a punch needle embroidery pen. Do check out some of our other videos on different types of tools. We've also got lots of other playlists over on our YouTube channel. There are sew-alongs, pattern drafting videos, how to use your overlocker, lots of learn to sew techniques and loads of inspiration for fabric choices and pattern pairing. We would love to see you over on our website, so do make a free account and share your makes there too. Thank you very much for watching.